Between the years of 1973 and 1976, Princess Anne was pretty busy. Not only did she get married in an internationally televised wedding at Westminster Abbey to Mark Phillips in late 1973, she also competed in the Olympics in Montreal in 1976 in a 3-day event on the Queen's horse and almost took a permanent heist where she fell off her horse or fell forward, where she was almost severely injured. But in between that was probably one of the most weirdest moments in royal history she was unfortunately part of. On March 20th, 1974, Anne and Mark Phillips were returning to Buckingham Palace from a charity event when a Ford Escort forced her Princess Ford car to stop on the Mall. The driver of the Escort, Ian Ball, jumped out and began firing a pistol. Inspector James Beaton, Anne's personal protection officer, exited the car to shield her and to try to disarm Ball. Beaton's firearm, a Walther PPK, jammed, and he was shot by Ball, as was Anne's chauffeur Alex Callender when he tried to disarm Ball. Brian McConnell, a nearby tabloid journalist, must have been following the car, also intervened but was shot in the chest. Ball approached Anne's car and told her that he intended to kidnap her and hold her for ransom. The sum given by varying sources has 2 million British pounds or 3 million British pounds, which he claimed he intended to give to the National Health Service. Ball told Anne to get out of the car, to which she replied, "Not bloody likely." She reportedly briefly considered hitting Ball. In 1983, she spoke of the event on the talk show Parkinson, saying she was scrupulously polite to Ball, as she thought it would be silly to be too rude at that stage. Eventually, Anne exited the other side of the limo, as had her lady-in-waiting Rowena Brassey. A passing pedestrian, a former boxer named Ron Russell, punched Ball and led Anne away from the scene. At that point, Police Constable Michael Hills happened upon the scene. He too was shot by Ball, but he had already called for police backup. Detective Constable Peter Edmonds answered gave chase and finally arrested Ball. Beaton, who had been Anne's sole bodyguard, later said about royal security, "I had nothing. There was no backup vehicle. The training was non-existent, but then again we thought nothing was going to happen. They are highly specialized now, highly trained." Immediately after attack, the use of only a single protection officer was stopped, and the Walther PPK pistol was replaced. Now, Beaton, Hills, Callender, McDonald were hospitalized and recovered from their wounds. For his defense of Princess Anne, Beaton was awarded the George Cross by the Queen, who was visiting Indonesia when the incident occurred. Hills and Russells were awarded the George Medal, and Callender, McConnell, and Edmonds were awarded the Queen's Gallantry Medal. Anne visited Beaton in hospital and thanked him for his assistance. It was widely reported that the Queen paid off Russell's mortgage, but this is not true. Russell said in 2020 that a police officer suggested it might happen, so as a result, he stopped paying his mortgage in anticipation and nearly had his house repossessed after 4 months. Now, Ball pleaded guilty to attempted murder and kidnapping. As of 2024, he was still detained under the Mental Health Act at Broadmoor Hospital, have been diagnosed with schizophrenia. Now, the attempted kidnapping of Princess Anne is the focus of the Granada television-produced docudrama To Kidnap a Princess, 2006, and inspired storylines in Tom Clancy's novel, The Patriot Games. Now, Princess Anne, of course, was quite busy in the mid-1970s. She involved in different patronage and stuff and keeps her mother's legacy going and several factors. But what I really don't understand about this whole situation, because of the amount of kidnappings and different situations worldwide in the 1970s, we know that Nixon was almost assassinated in 1972. The Gerald Ford incidents later on. I don't think Princess Anne's security was enough, and the guy probably anticipated that, because if you're obviously, she wasn't going to be a future queen because of Charles, but still she's technically closer to the throne than one security guard. Like I said, if she would have took a bullet, anything could have happened from there. They're lucky the guy was crazy, because usually crazy people are not a good shot. So that's a story about how Princess Anne avoided death. And I can ask you a question. How is he going to kidnap Princess Anne being only one person? Like, it didn't make any sense. No wonder he's still in jail, because only a crazy person would come up with that plan. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing here, we're a vintage historical podcast. Let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share. Bye.